Going spin then drop.
All right,
Ever seen that music video?
No, I have not.
It's for the rapper Fathers. I don't call my dad father.
And he's also not a rapper.
Musical rapper Fathers music video for his song "Everybody in the Club Getting Shot."
That I wouldn't have guessed that it was from any other song.
Yeah, I mean, I might have the title wrong, but it's a video where people pretend to shoot each other with dildos, mainly.
Okay, well, here we are yet again. Politics, talking with...
Back at it again.
Is anybody out there? If anybody is listening...
We have not hosted this anywhere yet.
Yeah, so, this is a twice-a-weekly podcast where we talk basketball and leftist politics and pedophilia in a negative way. And
it's bad, folks.
We got some jokes, too, thrown in.
We do this podcast twice, and we do it weekly.
Yeah,
we're just some weak dudes.
We do 2 takes of the same episode and use the best one. We switch roles, and then we edit it together. So I'm just talking to myself
the entire time. And that's honestly the second half of the first episode felt a little bit like that because I just cut out basically everything I said. I was like, oh, I sound like a fucking idiot here. But I don't care if you sound like an idiot. So I should put it all in there.
Oh, thanks. I thought that was going to be, but you were really on it,
really smart.
But no. All right, yeah. So, follow us on Twitter if you're not already, which you're not.
Yeah, follow at Basketball Drill.
Yeah, and then me, Ball Handler. That's at ball_handle. Yeah, check us out. I have 4 tweets, and 3 of them...
They're all phenomenal, let me just say.
3 of them are related to basketball. The 4th one I'll spoil right here. He's actually inspired by my philosophy class. Yeah, that's right, folks. I'm a smart guy. I'm an internet smart guy. I use logic to disarm the white knights of the internet. Anyway, the tweet is elementary school. You can be whatever you want to be. College. You cannot be a ham sandwich.
I don't understand. Please explain the tweet.
Yeah, so...
This is our new segment. David breaks down his confusing tweets.
David, spends 140 minutes talking about his tweets. So basically the idea is, so there's these things in philosophy called essential properties that some people called essentialists suppose...
No, there aren't.
Huh?
No, there aren't.
Yeah, well, I don't think there are either. But anyway, there's certain people called essentialists who believe in essential properties, and those are properties that an object could not exist without having.
And without that belief, those people would not exist.
Well, in my mind, and supposedly, according to my professor, I could not exist as a ham sandwich. A ham sandwich cannot have my essential properties. Therefore.
But what are they? They never say.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. Yeah. If you ask Kripke, he thinks that it's essential to him that his mom and dad fucked in exactly the same way that they did.
These people are just... Yeah. This guy, I mean, these people are just basically nominative determinists who decided that sounded too stupid to say out loud.
Yeah. No, and people are like, dude, what are you talking about? Because Kripke's supposed to be like a god figure in philosophy, and he has this. It's called like a reproductive essentialist or origin essentialism, where he thinks where you came from is essential to you. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Seems like some more. Yeah, I also read that John Searle is a fucking sexual predator. Routinely molests his research assistants.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of these guys, there's sort of a whole generation / every generation reaching back in time.
Yeah.
Of like white male academics who kind of reach a certain point where they feel they can do no wrong, and turns out they can get away with it.
Yep. Yeah, dude, philosophy is like one of the most insular and conservative and basically those two things. It's pretty terrifying. Yeah. It's
basically an Amish colony.
Yeah, it's the most. It's as a philosophy major, basically what I'm doing is participating in a old white man appreciation society.
It's like the Catholic Church. It's like seminary, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they can touch you in whatever way they want. It could be an innocuous pat on the rump.
After the philosophy Ren Fair softball game.
All right, let's move off this because it's making me uncomfortable. I don't want to remember this stuff. All right, we're gonna delete this. Basically, this whole segment. Okay, yeah, let's get into it. We we threw this list of articles together just recently. Just to give a little behind the scenes, how we plan every show is we just Google basketball. Then we do the first 5 or so things that come up.
I go to Dogpile and I search question mark. I'm that guy's fake grandpa who he thought Twitter was Google.
Yeah.
All
right.
So basketball.
Yeah.
We really should say NBA because neither of us has really been pretending to give a shit about college basketball that much.
Yeah. I mean,
you do more than me. Mm-hmm. I didn't pretend to know anything about it.
Yeah, no, I didn't even
know some stuff.
I didn't even make a bracket. I mean, well, there's 20,000 colleges in the U.S. and I don't know how many, but a lot of D1 schools.
I mean, and it's the same fucking 5 to 8 schools every goddamn year that make the Final Four.
Yeah, that's true. Although
I don't know Villanova. I don't care.
I'm really glad that Duke is out this year, though, because fuck Duke.
Fuck Duke. I mean, fuck all of them, though. Fuck Kentucky. Fuck UNC.
Yeah. Fuck Kansas.
Yeah. Fuck Kansas. Oregon, I rock with still. I don't know why.
I can't believe that they're in the Final Four. That blew my mind. I keep expecting them to go out.
I expected them to go to the Elite Eight maybe, but that was I'm impressed with them.
I just know a couple of years ago they were seeded like 1 or 2, and they fucking sucked. So I just expect that.
Yeah. Is that Pac-12 like a shitty conference?
I mean, it's not one of the big ones. It's in like the top five, I guess. What's that?
Is that Oregon's conference? Do I have that right?
I don't fucking know. Maybe.
There might be a Northwest one. No, that doesn't make any sense. Because otherwise it would be just California.
You're right. It's Pac-12.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I guess I would say like the sort of big ones are like, you know, well, yeah, they're up there. It's like you know, SEC and Big 12 and Pac-12 and etc.
The Big 10.
Yeah, Big 10 to some extent. Yeah, they're not really good at basketball.
No.
Good.
I cried a single tear when ISU was eliminated in like the second round or whatever.
Well, they're Big 12 though. Big 12 is pretty damn good.
Oh, they are?
They're in the Big 12 with 10 teams as opposed to the Big 10 with
12 teams. It should really be the small 12 in the Big 10.
Yeah, you're right.
10 is a small 12. You can't really dispute that.
Or the Big 10 and the bigger, or the Big 12 and the bigger 10.
Yeah.
All right.
The normal size 10 and the normal size 12, people. Come on, let's clean this up.
The wide 12. All right.
Yeah. The extra long 10.
The 10-inch and the foot long is what they should be called.
You don't know what I'm talking about here because you don't own a mattress.
Right. That's true.
For all listeners, David sleeps on the floor
of a homeless shelter.
Not making this up. I mean, that part's not true, but
yeah, no,
he spent all his money on a really fantastic credenza and found that
actually sleep in a breakfast nook. A standalone breakfast nook.
He just has a table in his room that he lies on completely still, face up.
I have like an outhouse, but it's breakfast nook. And yes, I know what you're thinking, and I do shit in there. All right. Let's see.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna be a good joke.
Shouts out to sorry, just one more thing. One more preliminary to get out of the way. Shouts out to Sam Sachs and Sam Knight today. Forget which one it was because I don't know which one is which.
They're both Sam. It's really confusing.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, they were calling out Chris Christie because just today his two top aides were arrested or indicted or something for willingly and knowingly participating in the illegal bridge closing. And
yeah, it's a really specific felony that they invented.
They're like, damn.
They're like, fuck, this isn't actually illegal yet.
Yeah, like but it's so wrong. Yeah, so the line that I liked was, I hope you like prison food, Christy, because they've got a lot of it where you're going, prison.
Classic. Extra crispy Christy.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. Crisp tendies.
Tendos.
All right, let's move on.
The Bodega Boys do a bit about him where they just make fun of him for being fat, and that mostly takes the form of making him, like, doing an impression of him where he's like, where's the gabagool?
The gabagool.
He's not even Italian, but he's from New Jersey. Eats a lot.
He's a piece of shit.
And he's a piece of shit. Yeah, I mean, fucking actual mob guy, basically.
Yeah, that bridge closing shit is like, that's like some infrastructure like fuckery, like some construction shit.
Yeah, since the Cosa Nostra has taken all the fun rackets, basically all you can do is garden variety, white guy, New Jersey mobster is bridges, tunnels, got some Verizon store rackets in there.
Tanning boots, tanning salons.
Tanning salons. Yeah.
All right. Let's hit the basketball news here.
Okay, tweet beat.
Yeah, let's start with some tweets. This is actually, we just read our Twitter feed.
So yeah, starting at the top here, we have shit piss Hitler 69.
Yeah.
Saying Bertie Sanders is fash.
Yeah.
So yeah, before we read these basketball tweets, I just want to reassure all the kids at home. This is an Onion headline from today. Skip Bayless isn't real. I know, he's scary. Skip Bayless is just on TV. He's not real.
He can't find you.
Yeah, he's not gonna come and get you. Yeah, so you wanna read the first of these tweets?
Yeah. So the first one we got here is from my man, Skip Bayless. Please be sure to follow my other Twitter account, Bayless #1 fan. I'm on the Bay list.
Bay Hive.
Queen Bay.
It's really uncomfortable when people think you're saying Beyonce wrong. You have to be like, no,
it's actually
racist.
All right. So anyway, he tweeted out, starting to wonder if the Warriors are better without Kevin Durant. No.
Yeah, we want to just address this really quick on the air. Skip Bayless's question.
No. Yeah. The answer is no. I don't think there's any team that's better without Kevin Durant. It's certainly not the Thunder.
The majority of the teams in the NBA. So let me just break this down for you. Every other team in the NBA is worse than the Warriors, and every other team in the NBA also doesn't have Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Draw your own conclusions.
Mm-hmm. That's logic, folks. That's the transitivity of greater than. For you,
that's Kevin's theorem, as we.
That's the
conservation of Kevin.
The cupcake inequality. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So yeah, that's all we really had to say about that one.
Moving it right along.
What's with, this isn't specific to this tweet, but what's with Skip's profile picture on Twitter being like old Benedict Cumberbatch? Like
the pose he's doing?
Yeah. And the clothes that he's wearing and his hairstyle and the face that he's making.
I mean, I think that's just the kind of photo op you do when you look like a mummy.
when you look like Michael Jackson crossed with Voldemort.
Yeah, when you look like an Irish bog mummy, you have to really focus on your hair, makeup, get the right angle and lighting. You wear that black turtleneck every time.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, next quote. That's combined tweet quote. Tweet quote. Fuck, I can't talk at all.
Quote the tweet.
Quote tweet. Queen. God save the queen. Anyway, all right, we'll edit that out too. This is part, funny and part good. I assume good factual reporting. I don't know if Kyrie actually said this. Do you think he did? Or wait, which tweet are you on?
Are we looking at Bloach's tweet?
Yes.
Yeah. The phrasing seems suspect. I don't doubt that he said something like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is our man at Bloach on Twitter, BLOACH. Follow him for the hottest NBA, college hoops, and depression sandwich.
Yeah.
But and screen caps at Joe Barden saying, I'm not sure I get to cleveland.com/plain dealer. So here's Kyrie today on complacency. 1 out of 2. 2 out of 2. Kyrie. But if you a motherfucker, you want 2 brackets championships. You want 3. You want 4. Great quote, Joe.
Yeah, that's gold. That's what you want from a good basketball quote. This is why we're all fans of basketball. I think it has nothing to do with the athleticism. It's really all for the quotes.
Yeah. So the semantics of motherfucker in English are extremely fluid.
Yeah.
Entirely sure without the intonation and the context what this means.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's positive or negative. Even.
He could just be saying this about himself. It certainly seems to refer to his desires. He wants to win 2, 3, 4 championships. If you're a motherfucker, you want to win 2 championships. If you're like me, that kind of thing. But it could also be a sort of hard-nosed, like, oh, if you're a motherfucker, you want to...
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't know.
Well, let's see. LeVar Ball fan, Bloach, says, when you jerk off and cry for Kobe, you start to become him. So I'm guessing his take is that this is a positive motherfucker, Does that seem reasonable to you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Relatively speaking, this actually leads into one of our later topics, so maybe we can talk about that more later. But yeah, what else we got? There's no skip tweet here that we want to just talk.
Yeah,
that we want to talk about, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so really the part I was interested in this one is Skip Bayless again, our favorite man, right about everything.
Extremely good at predicting the outcomes of basketball.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever actually gotten it wrong.
The Vegas odds actually pretty much track everything Skip Bayless says.
Yeah, so let's see. The part I wanted to talk about here was he says, "Forgive me, but I like LeVar Ball." First of all, he's better than you, so you don't have to apologize.
Let's read the whole tweet first. Skip Bayless says, "Forgive me, but I like LeVar Ball. So fearlessly real and believes so unconditionally in his sons. Appears he raised a fine first son in Lonzo."
Yeah.
I don't know if this is before or after UCLA got knocked the fuck out of the NCAA.
Oh, this is
championship.
after. Yeah, this is after.
So this makes even less sense now.
Yeah.
But as Alonzo has said, Alonzo is actually better than the predicted number 1 draft pick. So
Markel.
that's yeah. So that's a supporting fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Skip wants us to forgive him for liking LeVar Ball.
Which I mean,
well,
you don't.
First of all, I wish he would ask for forgiveness more often. Basically, the preceding all of his opinions.
Yeah.
He should ask for forgiveness.
And that should be his name on Twitter. Please forgive me.
Yeah. We're going to circulate a change.org petition to get Skip to change his display name to Forgive Me.
Forgive me, Father. Yeah, so anyway, also I like this little symmetry where so LeVar was getting a bunch of shit for averaging 2.2 games in college, or 2.2 points in college basketball. And then someone dug up Skip's record from high school, and he he averaged 1.4 points per game.
Did they call it high school back then, or was it secondary school or preparatory academy?
Yeah, back home in 14th century Austria.
That's perfect, though. I mean, yeah, Skip is one of those guys who won't shut the fuck up about that one time he was in a duel.
Yeah. And ran away.
Want to see my sick facial scars? You can't, because this isn't TV. They haven't invented TV yet.
But anyway, also, yeah, it's odd to me that maybe he's now retroactively liking LeVar because people are giving him so much shit for averaging fewer points per game than him. I don't know. I don't claim to be able to look into the infinite mind that is Skip Bayless and see what his motivations are. I mean, the will of Skip is it's unknowable. It's a mysterious thing. But yeah, anyway, that's all I wanted to get out there.
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying that you have to have been good at basketball to have opinions on basketball. I mean, please don't look up my stats from my casual games at the Jewish Center. They are really harsh with the foul calls.
My man's is handing out bloody noses left and right, folks.
I might use my elbows here and there. No, I mean, my equivalent of this would just be me at the park losing a pickup game against 13-year-old from the neighborhood.
Wearing, like a Jordan jersey.
No shoes.
They play with a dead possum with its feet tied together.
You were actually playing for my shoes.
Oh man, yeah, it's pretty real out there, folks. This is a Jewish kid, to be clear.
I don't really. Yeah. I live in a pretty rough neighborhood in Brooklyn. Down on around Metropolitan Ave.
Neapolitan Ave.
I mean, yeah. My deli man keeps making fun of me for not being able to speak Yiddish.
In Yiddish, though.
I think that's what he's saying.
You just gotta be like, oh, shalom, back to him, or chutzpah. All right. Let's see. Oh, Yiddish words. Yiddish.
I don't know about that. Yeah. So, we're done smoking the shit out of Skip.
I
We're
mean,
just trying to make a living.
we do this. We do this out of love, Skip. We are your biggest fans. If you ever want to come on the pod, come to the Politics HQ. We will give you a fair hearing. You have right to representation in the form of me.
I am an attorney.
Yeah, I will provide very sympathetic and charitable readings of your tweets, and that will be all that I will say. I'll only respond in the form of your tweets. So,
can you imagine doing an interview and the only questions are just them reading your tweets back to you?
So what did you mean by you cannot be a ham sandwich?
I'm only halfway through my search results for your tweets containing the word Oreos.
All right, let's see. So we have another tweet here. Isn't Twitter the best, everybody? All right, so this is not about the actual tweet content. It's just a reminder to talk about what may be our biggest story today, I guess.
Insert the weekend's reminder clip here.
All right, yeah, let's get into it. So this was, I'm sure most of y'all have heard about this, but this was, where was it 2 nights ago now?
Shit. I'm gonna have to check the date stamp. I think it was last night. I can't believe I've blanked this out so quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, basketball days are shorter than regular days.
Basketball games, well, I do think about them 24 hours a day. Do not last 24 hours. So, yeah, it was yesterday night. Yeah, so this is the last Blazers game against the Nuggets, Tuesday, 28th.
The dank Nugs.
Yeah, I mean, it's acquired new relevance, their team name, following the legalization.
Yeah, true. I mean, the Blazers also.
Yeah, shit. Oh my God. Okay, so if Alaska ever gets an NBA team, it's gonna have to be called White Widows or something.
Oh man. Okay, so here's my gimmick. So I accidentally fucked up and Googled. I was trying to find out their last game, and I Googled Balzers instead of Blazers, which is a town in Liechtenstein. And I wish that Nurkic was from Balzers, Liechtenstein, so he could be the Blazer from Balzers.
Yeah.
Alas, he's from the fictional country Bosnia and Herzegovina.
I think they just call it Bosnia now. I think they ethnically cleansed whatever Herzegovina was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bill Clinton thought there were some Serbian.
I'm in favor of a 2-state Bosnia Herzegovina solution.
Yeah. or whatever of the other potential ways to pronounce it there are. We've gone through 3 of them, but there are hundreds more.
Yeah. Herzgo. Jovina. There's a lot. Anyway. Yeah, let's move on.
Hershey's Godiva.
Yeah.
So,
it actually used to be called His Governor until Hillary signed a treaty making it less sexist.
Hillary oversaw the 1996 bombing campaign.
Yeah, that was the only condition of surrender.
Yeah,
and the cause of the war.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, this was the Blazers' most recent game as a recording time. They're on a 4 or 5 win streak now.
Yeah, they're getting it done.
They're getting it done. They have a home heavy schedule, pretty easy matchups for the most part for the rest of this season.
Oh, actually, yeah, they're on a 4-game win streak, but they had dropped one to the Bucks by 3, and then had won the previous at least 3 games. So yeah, they're cooking.
They're cooking, yeah. We've got a tough matchup with the Rockets tomorrow night. But yeah, not a bad schedule remaining. 6 games at home, 2 away. So it's looking good for the Blazers.
Yeah, in playoff news, they're competing for this 8th spot with the Nuggets, and so winning against them is pretty huge. Yeah. So now they are in sole possession of the 8th seed in the West. And
yeah, they hold all the tiebreakers, and they've got a much easier schedule, so it's pretty much locked at this point.
Yeah.
Not that it's relevant that they hold all the tiebreakers, because, as I was about to say, last night they cooked them 122-113.
Yeah.
In a pretty competitive but nonetheless convincing performance.
Yeah.
The top 3 Blazers were on top form. You had Dame grabbing those assists and rebounds, scoring some points. You had CJ McCollum with 39.
Yeah.
You had our baby boy from Bosnia, Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah.
How does it feel, Joe, to drop 33 and 16 on your old team that never gave you minutes?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. And I think I actually have the answer, because there's this great clip in his post-game interview where this guy does not speak English very well, but he speaks basketball player English.
Yeah.
He can communicate, but he's not the most articulate motherfucker in the world. And so they're doing this post-game interview, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, no, I love you guys. I love playing in Portland." And so
hell yeah,
everybody's cheering, yelling, and hollering, and yeah, hell yeah. I mean, this is just a feel-good story for me at this point. If you're a Nuggets fan, you can go to hell. But
yeah.
No, for anyone though. I mean, this guy was a high potential center who kind of languished for 2 years behind Jokic, getting a few minutes in every game. Not really, he kind of checked out, and then he went to Portland and started balling out of control. So we're all happy for Nurkic. Especially right.
The second best, or maybe the first best, itch now.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was dumb. But I don't know. Someone's gotta make that joke.
Somebody's got to scratch the itch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a pretty. What was I gonna say? Yeah, we're especially happy for Nurkic now, dropping that game.
Yeah, that was very impressive. He's had some pretty incredible games. There's that one, maybe the second game after he was traded, where he put up nearly a quadruple double.
Yeah, he came close.
Yeah, it can lead into our next story, I guess, if you want to move on.
Sure. Yeah. Let's see. One more thing to add on that.
Yeah.
Is just in that post-game interview, he was waving goodbye once again to the Nuggets, and ended his interview with saying, "To those guys, happy summer."
And a happy summer it will be.
Yeah, the Nugs should have a nice, relaxing summer.
Yeah. Rest up, Yeah. And, I hope it's a good summer for the Blazers. I hope it's a successful camp. If Bayless is right, then the Blazers should be really pumped when KD comes back for their post-game series.
Yeah, KD's going to come back, and the Blazers are going to fucking crush
Sweep
the Warriors.
Yeah.
Connected and incoherent with Kevin Durant playing for them.
Yeah.
There's no chemistry at all.
Mm-hmm. And really just not enough talent on that team. They can't shoot the three. Can't shoot the mid-range jumper. It's really
definitely can't throw up floaters over anyone who's shorter than 6'8".
Yeah. So yeah, just again to get one last swift kick in the balls of Skip Bayless. You're dumb, but we love you. All right, so that almost getting a quadruple double brings us back to today. Actually, March 29th marks the 27th anniversary of Hakeem Olajuwon's quadruple double.
You may notice some flags at half staff today.
You may notice some basketball hoops being lowered to half height for slamming. So this was the third of 4 quadruple doubles in NBA history to date. Actually, we have no way of verifying whether that's true or not because steals and blocks weren't recorded as a statistic before like 1962 or something.
Because there were dozens per game. Had to hurl the ball sidearm whenever you wanted to pass or shoot.
Yeah. People don't know this, but it's called basketball because in the old days you carried the ball and dribbled it with a basket attached to your arms. So it was a much more complicated game.
It was a basket only slightly smaller in diameter than the scoring basket.
Yeah. And anyway, it was pretty cool, I guess. All 4 of them were pretty, incredible performances, and this one was a 18 point, 16 rebound, 11 block, and 10 assist showing from Hakeem in a Rockets victory. And yeah, it was really fucking cool, I think, to think about that. We've got a lot of triple-double news this year. Russ is averaging a triple-double so far this season, and putting up an insane amount of individual triple-doubles, as one probably should if one attempts to average triple-double. And then, you've got James Harden doing it. And we also had this wacky we had Draymond Green in mid-February or early February, I guess, post the first ever triple-double, not including points.
Yeah, so as you may note, points are the easiest to get a double digits in because
yes,
you get 2 of them
for every
basket
time you
point.
do it. Yeah. Yes. And
Or 3 if you're Draymond, which has never actually happened.
yeah. Right. So yeah, just kind of crazy. And that was with it was assists, rebounds, and steals, which is pretty insane. And he also had like 6 blocks on
and
top
fouls.
of that. yeah, and turnovers.
Assists, rebounds, and fouls.
Yeah, that's my Twitter profile. Is I want to average a triple double in the NBA with steals, blocks, and turnovers. Is the weirdest player to ever live. Because I mean, if you're averaging double digits in steals and blocks, you're going to be playing, even if you're also averaging 10 turnovers per game. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at that point, basically all you're doing is running around towards whoever has the ball in their hands.
That would be a terrific, like, it's not even a it's like keep away, right? It's not even a man-to-man coverage. It's just you have one guy whose job it is to chase down the ball.
To chase the ball, yeah. Yeah, on offense, Draymond has this weird kind of center, kind of power forward role, and on defense, he just plays monkey in the middle.
Yeah,
and much like in a schoolyard game of monkey in the middle, usually he only wins it by kicking his opponent in the balls.
Yeah, and he's entirely winded after like 10 seconds and really hates it. But you know, he's a grinder.
Yes, he pounds that Gatorade.
Yeah,
sweats that blue sweat.
Actually, I think his role would be to get the 10 turnovers. Also, he would just stay at the opposite end of the court and chuck bombs as passes. And then just wait there for the offense of the other team to get back. That would be an ideal. It is a goalie, basically. So we're describing it.
Yeah. The Golden State Warriors starting lineup at guard Steph Curry, at guard Klay Thompson.
Center, Pachulia. Yeah.
Goalie, Draymond.
He's got the gloves.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean he's basically that guy on a Champions League team whose job it is to opposing star and get ejected.
Yeah. I think if you so the 3-second violation, you could just camp in the lane. But I don't think there's anything against jumping up and hauling yourself on the rim for a few seconds and then dropping back down.
If you hang on the hoop, 3-second violation.
That's it's a loophole, folks. Look out for Big Boogie and Anthony Davis to start doing this in future games. And then they just kick at the that'd be great. But anyway, sadly we are stuck with this boring game where nobody's willing to try new things. And it's like innovative to shoot threes.
Almost no one even hits people in the nuts. Only Draymond really has the courage to do that.
Yeah, has the courage to kick the sleeping beast, which is LeBron's penis. But yeah, so I really love it when everybody's like, yeah, the Warriors like changed the game by shooting more threes than everybody else. And I'm like, well, they're good at shooting threes. Like that's why. Like it's not like
and I mean there is a certain, I mean, it's not complicated. There's a mathematical advantage there.
Yeah,
if you can shoot threes well.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we have really good three shooters. Steph can shoot from all over. Let's do like pick and rolls to get good open looks. Like that's it.
Or just shoot from 40 feet out.
Yeah,
because he can. Yeah, I mean that's literally what it is. It also, I mean, it obviously stretches defenses, but it's not like there's never been a team with good long-range shooters that's stretched to defense before. I mean, it's just an advantage of that skill set.
Right. I think my hypothesis is that Steph actually has really bad depth perception, so he thinks he's much closer to the hoop. Like, man, they ain't even guarding me.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. So do we have anything else on here? We've got we got a couple more things. Well, one more at least. Yeah.
So this is sort of. What's up?
Yeah, this is kind of the saddest story. Don't worry, though, folks. It has no actual consequences in the world.
No, this is merely a Skip Bayless type of comment. But the past 3 or 4 games that the Cavs have played have had me really worried as a LeBron fan, and as a as a concerned, skeptical thinker who does not want the Ball Earthers to have the NBA championship again. So the Cavs may be imploding.
Yeah.
Is that what we're seeing right now? They've lost their last 3 games.
Yeah.
Not tough matchups. Well, I mean, half tough matchups.
Right. Yeah, they dropped on the Spurs and then pretty brutal one. And then the Wizards. I don't know what my take on this is exactly. I think but I've always thought that they're not as good as the Warriors. I think that's sort of just evident from their record.
Well, I mean, obviously they're not as good in the regular season as the Warriors, and it's hard to argue. They're. I don't know where he's going with that. Obviously, they're not as good as the Warriors in the regular season. I think the difference is that Bron has a level he can go to that no one else can really touch.
Yeah.
And he kind of saves that for the postseason.
That's true. Although this season, Brown has been putting up career numbers and they're still losing. So I think this might fall to the other members of the team.
Sure.
I want to see how Caleb is doing. Do you know what his stats are like this season?
Let's cue that up.
Okay. He's doing pretty good. Yeah. Probably, I'd say on balance better than his career averages. He's turning in about 20 points a game. Not bad. Okay. And Kyrie is doing pretty well, I believe. I don't know. I'm not sure. I guess maybe we can believe LeBron and say that it falls to the rest of the team, the the bench and the non-big three players.
Yeah. And I mean, it certainly will help them in the postseason if JR can like black the fuck out like he did last year.
Yeah.
I think they're not seeing the kind of performances from people like Richard Jefferson they did during the finals.
Yeah.
But that does not preclude that happening again.
And Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, Tristan Thompson for sure. That's like,
I don't know. And let's not forget about the raw star power of my man Iman Shumpert.
The incredibly intimidating haircut.
No, I like the dude. The only real play I've seen of him is in the finals when he was, tasked with guarding Curry or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, listen, anyone can guard Steph Curry.
Yeah, you just have to fail to cover the deep shot and to get burned. Oh, wow. So Tristan Thompson is not having a banner year, putting up less than average points. He was putting up good rebounding and assist numbers for him, but his free throw percentage is 50%.
I mean, the dude's a center.
Yeah, I guess. I think the Cavs as a team, though, are pretty bad.
38% free throw or whatever it is.
Who?
Boogie.
Oh, yeah. Well, he declines them half the time, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Tristan Thompson's field goal percentage is higher than it's ever been.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, if you look at his, like, per 36 minutes numbers, he's doing comparatively pretty well. Let's see. Yeah, rebounding a little worse than last year, but not noticeably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that we're going to find the answer to this within individual player stats. I'm not sure if that's no,
and certainly not in their averages. I think the thing has just been like these kinds of breakdowns like they had against San Antonio.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. This might be a case of a little bit of, the, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
yips,
the yips. I mean, it could be that. It could also be like they've had the last couple months, especially. They've had a lot of injuries. They've been resting people. They just haven't had a very consistent lineup going.
Sure.
And having that kind of switch up mid-season will fuck you up a little bit, or it can. Yeah, I don't see the Celtics pulling out a series against them.
Mm-hmm.
So I still wouldn't be worried as a Cavs fan.
Yeah.
But hopefully, it is sad seeing, and this is the thing, is that like the Spurs are also better regular season wise than the Cavs and everyone else. The Spurs are a phenomenal team, possibly the best team once the Warriors have Kevin Durant back again.
And they take that step backward.
Once they take that nosedive. But it's not an embarrassing loss to lose against the Spurs. It's just an embarrassing loss to lose by 30 points. And the Spurs do shut down offenses.
Mm-hmm.
That's their thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I wasn't demoralized. Kyrie cried. I cried.
I think.
But
I think that they don't have a super good defense, and their offense isn't very good when they're playing a super good defense.
I would say that's true of the last, the more recent games I've seen. And their defense has been spotty all season. Tyronn Lue says he has a secret plan for their defense that he's going to deploy only in the postseason.
He's going to deflate the basketballs. So LeBron can crush it into a ball in his hand and just put it into the hoop.
No, Kyrie is going to do a flying crane kick and
paralyze
paralyze Draymond Green.
Which I think we would all like to see, if only out of curiosity, if nothing else.
Oh man, that'd be sad. As much shit as I talk about Draymond touching people's nuts, he is easily my favorite Golden State player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Clay
and probably
has no personality. His personality is entirely contained in his goatee.
Yeah, Clay seems
Steph, likewise, is a loathsome swamp creature.
What you don't like? You don't like babyface Steph the Chef Curry?
There's some fucking just brats. I don't like them as people.
Yeah. I feel like Clay seems to me like a Ryan Lochte type. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like big and tall and good at sports, but bad at knowing what sports are. In the broader context.
They're just the dumbest guy.
Yeah.
That you know that you've ever met.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so I hope this doesn't come across as racist.
Good start.
But dude,
listen.
Okay.
You know I'm not racist.
J.R. Smith, DeAndre Liggins, Tristan Thompson, and Kay Felder all look like brothers.
I'm not looking at what you're looking at, so I can't really agree to disagree.
Their pictures are like they're all like got goatees and the same quarter-inch buzz cut and like tatted up shoulders and chest. Yeah, man, they're like the basketball family, you know.
Yeah, they're the balls.
Yeah, they're the balls of Cleveland. Cleaved balls.
Ooh.
All right. Man, we're getting pretty boring here. Let's see. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I mean, what political developments are happening right now? Trump reapproved the Keystone Pipeline and settled the clean power plan.
I love the sort of conservative trope that is like, and we're going to roll back unnecessary and or like unnecessary regulations designed to kill jobs. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, who is this nefarious person who's coming up with regulations that don't actually need to be? Like, that doesn't make sense. And nobody has the creativity to do that either. Like, nobody can think of a thing that's not happening and regulate it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a possible thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, economists.
Yeah. Well, the economy,
basically everything that they talk about is made up.
Yeah, the economy is fiction. You heard it here first, folks. Anything that refers to the economy is false by virtue of not referring.
We should talk about how being an economist is a fake and wrong profession at some point. But this is unrelated to the issue at hand, which is that basically the Republican idea is that Barack Obama went to West Virginia and while the coal miners were sleeping, he snuck into their houses.
And instead of putting coal into their stockings, he actually removed it.
He took all the coal, he put it in an enormous government bunker and said, you are never allowed to burn this, even if it's to heat a house.
Or I would rather that you freeze to death. This is actually to make you freeze to death because I hate white Christians. That's basically it. Yeah, I don't fucking know, man. Like, it's like, let's like, oh wow, I didn't know we had any unnecessary regulations designed to kill jobs. Like, that was a stupid idea.
Get rid of those right away.
Why the Republicans approve that?
Come on, guys, just sleep at the wheel here.
It's just such a dumb, like, God, I hate that. So much.
Trump in his press conference is like, I'll tell you what's not a problem facing the United States: climate change. Which is basically, I'll tell you, folks, I'll tell you where I don't live. Near the water, not in a fortress.
I don't not live in a floating castle.
Folks, I live in the tallest buildings. Let me tell you. Flooding, I've never heard of it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and
I never go down that low.
If no, like see, Trump will just, if you're drowning, Trump will just come and pick you up in his helicopter and take you for a ride, and then drop you back. Anyway, that's a bunch of bullshit. And in more mundane news, Gorsuch, probably isn't going to pass. Probably might not even get a vote for the SCOTUS nomination.
I hope he doesn't get a vote. I mean, that seems to be what everybody who has a Democratic representative is saying. Is like, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, no, I mean, it seems as though over the weekend, Chuck the Cuck Schumer grew at least one ball and decided to, try to whip people to filibuster, which, yeah, fuck it. Like, I love the Obama quote also. There was like, if you succeed, we all succeed. Like, no, he's trying to do awful shit.
The Supreme Court will uphold an employer's right to kill their employees.
Yeah, which actually combined with Citizens United is murder. Literally murder.
I mean, that was literally the result of one of Gorsuch's cases, though, was when he was a circuit court judge. This case came before him where this trucker, his truck broke down. It was like side in bumfuck nowhere, whatever. He's like on the phone with his trucking company trying to figure out what to do. They're like, no, you have to stay put with the truck. We're going to come send somebody. They don't. He can't fix his truck, can't get anyone to come get him. Eventually abandons it, leaves, and they fire him. And Gorsuch ruled that they can just do that, comply with what they told him to do, so they can just fire him, even though he would have died if he had done what they told him to do.
That's a very like deserters are shot by firing squad.
I mean, but in the private sector economy, it's like these are the kinds of people who are just like, if you don't like the deal that you've made with your employer, just go work somewhere else.
Yeah, get a better job.
Depend on the attention span of some fucking teenage guy who's working the desk at this trucking company and has been up for 36 hours on speed.
Yeah.
For your life.
Who also can't leave.
No,
it's fucked up, dude. I point out that military analogy to point out two things. One, that the military is fucking crazy, and also that the private sector is fucking crazy because the white guys who run it want to model it after the military. Like, it's insane. I guess. Yeah, there's some healthcare news. I guess there's little rumblings of perhaps passing single payer, or at least Bernie, because Bernie has brought a bill, for single payer to the Senate floor, which is
excuse me, the Hillary man of Twitter would like you to know that that bill was actually authored by a representative in Congress. Bernie actually didn't even care about single payer until 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. As the Sams point out, Bernie has done this every year since the founding of the United States.
Bernie has done this every year since he was
elected as a Democratic Federalist.
23-year-old, a fresh-faced 23-year-old in Teddy Roosevelt's Progressive Party.
No,
anyway. They were fascists. What is a better example?
The Anti-Federalists.
The Socialist Party of Eugene V. Debs in the 1920s.
Goddamn, there's a cat outside. I probably gotta go feed her or some shit. And so it's not just a random cat; it's our cat.
I know. Yeah.
All right, I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay.
Oh, did you just lie in to my room? Because that is a bullshit reason. That was the loudest I've ever heard you want anything. She just wanted to come into my room. I think
Like an idiot.
I know, what a bitch. I think she thought Mara was still here because Mara was in my room yesterday.
Yeah.
And here, I'll get your string, little kitty. Yeah, Mara came over to play Witcher 3 on my PS4 while I supposedly was working on homework, but actually was just watching and telling her how to play it better.
That, to me, that is Bernie Bro.
No, I'm definitely a Bernie Bro. I'm also receiving a fat paycheck from Putin, personally. Actually, so this is on a personal note, but yeah, Rachel Maddow recently she was thrown in the garbage can. Actually, if you guys don't know what that is, that's the weekly subscriber only segment on the Sentinel cast published on Fridays by the District Sentinel. Good guys, once again, great content. Check them out.
Great Sams.
Yeah, two of the best Sams in news today. But anyway, she she was continuing basically the Democratic no, we didn't do anything wrong. Where our policies of killing black people by not giving them money and continuing to rob the American people is perfectly attractive to the average citizen. It was just actually that Russian agents publishing fake news on Facebook confused the dumb Bernie voters into not liking Hillary.
Which, yeah, I mean, I was convinced by a Russian 16-year-old who got paid $9 an hour to post online in his third language.
Yep. Yeah.
Before this Russian teenager said his tits to me, I thought that the regime change was good.
I thought it wasn't tits. No, yeah. Before this Serbian teenager told me that Hillary Clinton actually was responsible for 9/11, I thought that she was basically Bernie's mom. Yeah, no, it's fucking bullshit. And Rachel Maddow continued this tradition by saying, yeah, it was actually evidence that it was Russian people posting this stuff, financed by the state. And just to point out anecdotally that is bullshit, or at least only partially the truth, because so our friend Patrick, who goes to school in Chicago, he goes to school with a guy who ran one of those fake news websites. And it was hosted by a Russian server or whatever, but that was only because that's where you do it. Yes. So more than likely it was fucking asshole American chuds doing this from Russia, and
I mean, if anyone had any hard evidence of a state to employee transaction for this kind of work, that would be A, convincing evidence that this was happening, and B, convincing evidence that the Russians are way worse at this than the CIA is, because the CIA literally does that.
Yeah,
but and this isn't a secret either. The CIA does this. The New York Times reported on it because the CIA basically has been publicizing their campaign to do this with military age men in and around ISIS territory online.
Yeah.
This is like a public plan of the CIA's. And if you think they don't do this in other places, in sovereign nations that aren't like terrorist territory secretly, you're a fucking idiot who has never read anything about the CIA.
Oh yeah, no, they bragged about it, like on national media, bragged about like influencing the Russian elections. If this is anything any way related to Russia, it is our crows coming home to roost and us eating pie of it. Those crows.
Yeah. Our only misfortune is that we had oligarchs here that were somehow worse at governing than Yeltsin is or was. Like we had Donald, like they had Yeltsin, who's just like a fuck up, an alcoholic, whose buddies own like all of the state utilities now.
Mm-hmm. Like they own all trains.
Yeah. Yeah, Yeltsin and his friends, Train Man, Gas and Oil Man.
His friend Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
Mr. Oil.
But we had Donald Trump. So honestly, this is kind of what we get for just having Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. But also, I wanted to say, like, Russia doesn't need to enter into this explanation of fake news at all. Like, Facebook is more than happy to pay you for clicks. like,
yeah, totally. I mean,
like if you can make good money from publishing incendiary political shit during an election cycle and putting ads, you know,
which is what the fucking Washington Post and New York Times do.
Yeah,
literally the same thing. They just pay people more, and they go like actually talk to people, and then make up incendiary shit.
Right, and they have a history of not doing that, which I think is the actual difference.
Sure, I mean you could make that argument, and there is more factual information on offer in those outlets. It's just always presented according to their agenda as well, and in the most clickbaity way they can.
Mm-hmm. It is more aesthetically pleasing, though.
I have a more nuanced critique of media in a capitalist system, but can save that for another day.
Yeah, let's see. Any other oh yeah. I guess there's the I think this passed, right, the resolution to allow ISPs to sell your browsing history to the highest bidder.
Yeah, and to be fair, that was only recently prohibited.
Yeah, but I mean that's because people like, oh shit, they're doing that. Like, you know, like this. It wasn't something that was just like, oh yeah, I guess, you know, the people demand it. It's literally just old white congressmen being like, man, the internet's really fucked up. We should probably try to regulate it.
What's going on over there on the internet?
And then what's going on in that series of tubes?
I mean, they can see my browsing history.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it was literally just them realizing that Comcast knows that people have their staffers edit their own Wikipedia pages all the time.
Yeah. Also, there's that website. It was like a performance art piece or whatever, but I think it's actually based on Dogpile, which is funny. But it's just a feed of the searches on Dogpile. And like 1 of every 10 is child porn. Like, so yeah, I mean,
how do you target for that?
What are you even trying to get out of this, people? Like, until we're advertising child porn sites, there's not really going to be that much revenue from this, you know? But yeah, I don't know. Which is, I mean, part of it is like, but I mean, that's the thing. Even if you're like, oh yeah, they should sell that to like law enforcement or something to get these websites, shut down and people locked up for them or whatever. That's not what anyone would do with this.
No, I mean that has nothing to do with what this practice is, which is how. I mean, it's literally the same shit that every tech company is doing now, which is monetizing user data by selling it to advertisers.
Yeah. Same old shit. Now again, it's illegal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either. Yeah, I guess there's that. The whole thing with fuck, what was I going to say? The investigation into these Russia allegations, collusion between Trump and Russia, or Trump's team in Russia. No concrete details yet, but they said they've been through the majority of the literally thousands of documents that they've gotten from like whatever Homeland Security, FBI, NSA, whatever the fuck. However many redundant layers of surveillance were under.
Yeah.
But anyway, so here's my reasoning. They're probably not going to find anything, because if they found anything incendiary in the first, if they in the first half, they would have come out with those results. They haven't, which means there hasn't been anything incendiary. And I think probably these are communications that are, self-referential enough that any sort of bombshell would be mentioned in the stuff that they've already read. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Literally, the only like headlines that have any concrete information attached to them are like Trump campaign employee has contact with like some Russian banker that's like loosely connected to
Trump
Putin's administration or something like that. It's like the fourth degree of separation.
Yeah, Trump employee.
Even that's impossible to prove.
Clicks on like Russian girls ad on porn site, and it's Putin on a live chat.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should have stopped listening to the people who think that there's like, think Trump is a Russian psyop. Back in fucking December or whatever it was, when they said Trump's company was talking to a Russian hotel, and it was actually just a third-party marketing agency sending spam about Trump hotels to a server in Russia.
Yeah. So I think, so let's assume that Putin really did interfere in the election. And let's even assume that had he not done that, Hillary would have won. Let's assume he caught.
Let's not assume any of that, but sure, continue.
Would that even be really that bad? Because if Hillary had won, there would probably be like nuclear war or some shit.
I mean, it's sort of the thing where you kind of weigh, is nuclear war with Iran under Trump more or less likely than nuclear war with Russia under Hillary?
Well, but Iran doesn't have ICBMs as far as we know, so it doesn't really matter. They would only be able to bomb like England, which who gives a fuck?
Yeah, and even then they probably don't have nukes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, totally. The thing is that it seems, well, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, I have no doubt that Putin's administration wanted Trump to win. They may have even tried to help him. It doesn't seem like that's something they'd be very good at.
Yeah. How do we
Especially
manipulate the free election?
especially if like the fake news and like online troll shit is like really the best that we have, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Why don't I
Like
just call my cousin Boris, who is election administrator and makes up vote numbers? Yeah.
yeah, I mean there's
Putin 1 trillion votes. Opponent 73 votes.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't.
I mean
I agree with that.
the ways that they know how to rig elections in Russia are coordinated intimidation campaigns and political repression
Yeah.
at all other times.
Which isn't to say that
Those are
that
not,
doesn't happen here, but not to the same extent.
but they couldn't do that here. Is the thing.
Yeah.
That's not something that Russian secret agents are like gonna be able to pull off. Like they're not gonna be able to get together a gang of their buddies and like go around
Mm-hmm.
knocking on people's doors and asking them who they're voting for. Like that's not gonna fly here. It's not. I'm not trying to insult the intelligence of the Russian people or underestimate,
Or the intelligence organization of Russia.
or underestimate their intelligence apparatus. But like the CIA, I think it's safe to say, is way better at that than anyone else in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Rigging elections, that is,
Mm-hmm.
and regime change. And like we still know about a lot of the shit that the CIA did,
Mm-hmm.
even recently, because it's not subtle. So all this to say, very much doubt that any efforts they did make had any effect, or that they coordinated with Trump directly. I think he's honestly the one scenario I can imagine is if he like Putin tried to get him to agree to some deal, and he thought that they were making an agreement to open up a golf course in like on the Black Sea.
Yeah, no, I think it was actually like a Pizzagate type code, and it was like about steaks or something, and Trump literally thought it was an order of steaks. And so now Putin has received like 3 million steaks from Trump.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is like if you're Putin, you're kind of a doctor, you know, you're kind of a James Bond villain type actor. And can you imagine how frustrating it would be if you had to talk to Donald Trump and try to like orchestrate something with his campaign? Like, how much patience you would need to get through that shit?
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea what you would like threaten him with or like offer him, you know?
Yeah, it's literally nothing. It's literally like Trump being like, I don't see why we're not doing more business with Russia. Russia's fantastic. We're gonna do so much business with them.
Yeah.
Putin's like, so can we talk some details here? And Trump's like, it's gonna be all American made. It's gonna be the biggest resort in Sochi.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I mean, I think it's fair to say that politicians are much stupider. I mean, as duplicitous, but much stupider and less effective than most people think they are.
Exactly.
But I think Trump is
Especially
even
Donald Trump.
stupider. Like,
Like people thought Obama was playing 11th dimensional chess when he kind of didn't do anything for 6 years.
yeah.
But people think Donald Trump has a plan to collude with Russia to do what exactly now
Yeah.
that like he's won? Like what do they want him to do? Be
Yeah.
like not sanction them? Like
Yeah, like not actively hate them and disseminate
like
like red fear. Like that's literally
what is like what are the negative consequences now of this supposed deal? I just don't.
yeah.
People seem to be unwilling to put themselves in the position of like these people they think are nefarious geniuses.
Yeah, it'd be like if I mean the worst consequence is that now just we have Trump. Like which would have been the
Which is
consequence
really bad,
of him winning
but
any
that
other
probably
way
would
though.
happen.
Yeah, like it's so
And now we don't have to worry about an intercontinental nuclear war.
yeah, it's like it's literally like our plan to do what like how the to ensure the probable um end result of election in America. Like, that's the end game of this. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this hilariously revolves around the supposed chilling effect on turnout of the DNC leaks, which is like, okay, so you had a bunch of people realize that the DNC was duplicitous and biased, and that the Hillary Clinton campaign was petty,
yeah, it's Russia's fault.
petty and condescending to its voters, and incredibly short-sighted and stupid in the way campaign. And people saw that and were like, oh, no way I'm voting for them now. Like, people saw that and they were like, oh, that's pretty much what I thought, except I kind of figured they were smarter.
Yeah, well, no, and I mean, even if it wasn't, even if it was literally like, I'd be like if someone published a video of you murdering someone, and then everybody who saw that video was like, God damn, this guy who posted this video, like,
Yeah.
like what?
Like, no, nobody likes this guy who killed someone with a sword.
Yeah, like snitches get stitches, motherfucker. Like it's ridiculous that publishing factive info, like literally a leak, is like like I'm so angry at that. Like it's fucking like fucking Russia. Like why did you expose the horrible misconduct? Like what?
Right. And like, oh, why didn't they leak the RNC's emails as well? It's like, well, for one thing, John Podesta clicked on a phishing link, so it's kind of on them. But
yeah,
for another thing, like, and what would that have done exactly? What would people have learned about the Republican Party?
yeah. How much
About
worse?
Right. It's like, oh, they're colluding with corporations to loot the government and eliminate regulations. Like, people are all of these takes on the effects of a leak depend on the assumption that people aren't already incredibly cynical and disengaged in the political process already.
Yeah. And also, like, what the fuck would have to be in the RNC emails to have any more effect than the shit that came out in the campaign already did? Like, it would literally have to be like a tape of Trump literally raping someone. You know, like
yeah, I don't think that would even have done it.
Like, Yeah, I don't think there's anything.
The literal thing that Democratic Party operatives made up to smear him after all the horrible shit that came out about Trump. They're like, what can we think of that's worse than this?
Yeah.
It's prostitutes peeing on him in a Russian hotel. And like his voters were like, I don't care, that's awesome. I love that. Like,
yeah, no, Trump is kink positive. Trump is sex positive. Yeah, no,
he's definitely not.
Like,
he definitely doesn't fuck.
Let's see, what do you think would have like not the public at large, but what do you think would have pissed off his base? Like, what do you think could have undermined his base? Like him, like taking off his MAGA hat.
Honestly, a lot of the shit that he's doing now, like undermining, like rolling back the net neutrality rules. Mm-hmm. People are really mad about that in the alt-right internet sphere. What else? Not repealing Obamacare.
Saying that he
or
doesn't want to make America great again. You know, I don't know. Maybe him saying that he didn't want to lock Hillary up in the first place. Like, just
not locking Hillary up 60 days into his presidency.
I love that shit. Like, any actually morally bad thing is completely irrelevant. And any just ridiculous thing he would never do, you know, because he's very committed to he has a very firm set of beliefs, and he will only compromise them in action and not in words. I don't know. That's basically the big news, I guess.
We're fucked slightly more than we thought we were going to be.
Yeah, no, I'm pleasantly surprised though by how not fucked we've been so far. Obamacare is still there. I mean, it's just continuing the being fucked that we already were experiencing and not making it worse. You know, Hillary Clinton is not in jail. Mama Bird is still free, which is
still in the woods.
I mean, yeah, I would bomb thousands of Muslims to ensure that Hillary doesn't have to spend a day in jail. I think that's fair to say. But anyway, and we, you know, there have been, I think probably the most egregious things have been the fucked up stuff that ICE is doing now. But there is a lot of backlash against that, and protest has seemed effective so far. And
yeah, in a lot of ways, that's true.
And let's see what else. I think really Trump and Bannon are just kind of racist old guys who really want to do fucked up stuff to like blacks and Muslims, but don't really know precisely how to do it legally, you know? And then you have the Republican Party, which is hilariously mismanaged, I think, and is completely out of sync with the administration. So I think just so far, you know, they haven't been able to present a unified front, but they have 4 years to get it done. So I'm not very optimistic.
Yeah.
The appointments are appalling.
I think
those are maybe the worst things that have happened so far.
Yeah, I mean, expanded deportation criteria in the Muslim ban are pretty bad.
Yeah. No, there's there's some other fucking. So now he for Muslim like the Muslim countries airlines, people will not be allowed to bring laptops or tablets. And the Sams were talking today about like, yeah, there's some debate about whether that's just for national security purposes ostensibly, or for like to help American businesses, help American airlines with their business in those countries. But I think it's just because Trump doesn't like Muslims. He's trying to make their lives slightly shittier in any way that he can.
Trump saw a picture of a Muslim on a computer, and he was like, we have to do what we can to prevent this from happening. Whatever it takes.
Save the West from these scathing tweets from the Muhammads of the world. I think that's my personal take. But yeah, the travel ban, I'm like, it's appalling morally. And I think it really, it did have some pretty crazy, like the original one did not have an exemption for green card holders.
And I mean, since CBE agents are just kind of cops, they tend to just like detain people who are citizens and are brown for a while just to make sure, which is so bad. But also, another, it's like, okay, this is like a slightly worse version of a thing that just we do in this country all the time, which is the same deal with the deportations and the Muslim ban. But
I mean, but as people have pointed out, and I think it's legitimate, Obama was doing the same shit. Both of these things he did, he deported the most people and had a very... sorry, go ahead.
Trump is trying to scale up in ways that Obama kind of already reached capacity at. Like deportations, he's expanded the criteria. And so he's going to try to deport more than Obama's 3 million or whatever it was, which is just an incredible feat of like police state horrorism that Obama accomplished through this enormous militarized policing apparatus, spying on activists. He targeted for deportation people who were active in the Fight for 15, all kinds of fuckery like that. Trump is now like, well, we have to be tougher than that. And so how can we can say, get the kids, like get the, whatever less guilty, on whatever fucked up continuum of illegality we have decided to justify this with. Make it bigger, make it worse. And to live up to that promise, he would have to hire 10 to 20,000 new ICE agents. And the one interview I've heard with somebody who used to work there, this bureaucrat was basically like, there's no way to do that. Like the hiring criteria, even if they're relaxed considerably, like interviewing that many people, you do not have the administrative capacity to do that in 4 years. Like this will take a decade to even get started, basically. You can keep throwing money at the problem, which is what,
that's Trump's family crest.
But there's a certain point at which like your shitty private prison complex that's a bunch of trailers and fences, people just start like escaping from it because you scale it too quickly, there's an upper bound to this type of shit.
Which is really good because I mean, I'm holding out hope that Trump will not be elected a second term. I don't know why, because the Democratic Party is still going to be the only viable alternative, and it's still going to have its head up its ass. So there's a very real chance that we'll see Trump have a second or even third term.
Trump will like invent a new Osama and kill him and beat Cory Booker in 2020.
Yeah. No, he'll actually beat Devin Booker on the court.
With his new robot body, like Richard Nixon in Futurama.
With his ape body.
Jesus. Yeah, Trump is the silverback gorilla mind set.
Gorilla mind and body set. Yeah. So we're pessimists here on the show, politics. So we fully prepare. We're fully prepared to see Trump in office again. I don't know. I may go to grad school in Canada.
I mean, let's be real. We're white citizens of this country. Basically, all we have to worry about is the fact that Trump really wants us to continue to be broke and not afford health care.
And racist. That's what's expected of us based on our heritage.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? But so if we don't get cancer, I think we're gonna be all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of people won't be.
Yeah, a lot of people already aren't.
A lot of people already aren't. And the fucked up thing about the climate change shit, apart from the obviously horrifying consequences for the planet's future, is the fact that the impacts of increasing the rate of global warming are mostly on people who can't afford to move and live in
Africa, basically.
Well, not just Africa. I mean, it's also true of this country.
Yeah, no, but I mean, Africa is already being fucked over in the rural areas, and there's a tremendous amount of drought, and just people are dying.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there are displaced, refugee communities like the Rohingya in Southeast Asia who are, for a variety of reasons, displaced, impoverished, and without a permanent home. And those people are also just in incredibly vulnerable places in refugee camps at sea level.
Yeah.
There's a shitload of that. Just disasters waiting to happen.
Yeah, it's grim. I've maintained that this is why I supported Bernie, was because he was the only candidate within potential for winning who considered climate change to be a top 3 issue. And none of the other candidates considered it a top 10 issue, and which is incredibly fucked up. I wasn't, super jazzed up about Bernie because it wasn't the top 1 issue. So I mean, I don't know. Short-term goals, I'd like to see the Green Party get a lot more power. Democratic Socialists also. I think we need a breakup of the Democratic Party because I think putting those voters under a different banner could draw some people who just have a bad taste in their mouth from the Democratic Party into more progressive organizations. I don't know if that might be wishful thinking, but yeah, I think we need a fundamentally socialist economy and society with a premium placed on addressing climate change because it's going to start seriously fucking us up in the next 15 years. And people, nobody seems to care. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
How short-sighted people are.
Yeah, well, they don't think it's going to affect them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. It's amazing to me.
And I mean, and they're not wrong necessarily.
Well, they are, I think. You know, the breakdown of food systems is probably going to be the biggest thing. And we've already seen some extended droughts and extended floods in the Midwest, which produces, you know, by kilojoule, the most food energy anywhere in the U.S. You know, and
right, but if you have enough money, you can find a way around that.
Yeah,
I mean, literally, that's how it works.
Yeah, but I think those people have enough money to survive sort of the, I don't know. This is gonna, if the corn market of the Midwest fails, then the economy in China, I think, will fail, and that's going to send the world economy into a tailspin because we have two of some of the biggest economies in the world just sort of back on their heels. And if you have enough money to survive that sort of massive shakeup, then you're not in the majority of Americans. But my point is that the majority of Americans don't give a shit and don't consider it to be of primary importance. I think those people are like top, 0.1%.
Maybe I'd go a little lower than that, but that's true. I don't think most people don't care. I think most people don't know what to do, and
yeah, well,
there is nothing they can do.
Here's my point though. That is, again, that's not even a top 3 issue of any politicians or any. That's not what people want to see, clearly, because the Green Party is very weak right now. Not a lot of support. My point is
that though.
My point is that this issue is far and away the most important because it's going to decimate our population and our ability to, provide for any other sort of issue. Like
eventually, yes, but a lot of people's lives are fucked up in more proximate ways.
Yeah, but those aren't the defining issues either. I mean, what I consider to be the biggest issues are like, how are we going to fight ISIS? How are we going to get more jobs, I guess, for people who are living pretty well, considering, it's not like welfare issues. It's not like, and also it's like, social issues, like how much healthcare is too much healthcare, and like,
who is it okay to abandon to death?
Yeah, and like, should we allow mothers to decide when they want to be mothers? Like just that, what I consider like really existentially trivial shit. Whereas climate change, I mean, it's just objectively far more important, I think, because the consequences and the probability of it happening are, just multiply those together, and the value is much, much higher than any other issue. And I don't think that anybody really, I think there was a poll recently, a Gallup poll, that showed that a majority now, like 52% of Americans, think that climate change is real and is bad. But that's like the bare minimum that we need everybody to be at to even start solving this. You know what I mean? So yeah, I this is the main reason for my just universal pessimism, is that I don't think this issue is being taken seriously or talked about really at all, and it needs to be, or else we're all going to die. And I mean that non-hyperbolically.
Yeah.
I think you're right also that maybe this is also what you're getting at, is that people don't like to think about it because it is very depressing and an issue that, either people don't know how to solve it, or they do know and they know how much it will take, and that's too much.
Yeah. I mean, it's a result that no reasonable person would expect our political system to address.
Exactly. Yeah. So it really would take, as I say, everybody to be like, oh shit, this is the number one issue. And even then it would be really hard to do it.
It would take a critical mass of people basically, just like basically stopping working and marching to Washington and being like, hey, you're not the government anymore because you're not addressing climate change. Like that's the population side thing that would need to happen.
Yeah.
Because society scale change is what's needed, and a capitalist ruling class will never ever have an incentive to address climate change, even when the seas are on fire.
Yeah. So yeah, I think an economically viable and actually sort of populist plan could be proposed to fight climate change along the lines of the military industrial ramp up to bring us out of the Great Depression. History kind of shows us that if you pour all your resources into a single-minded effort, you can get a lot done. And in that case, the benefit was stimulating the economy. And I think the same benefit could happen here if we pour all of our resources into design and manufacture and implementation of green energy infrastructure, solar panels in particular, and wind farms. The technology exists, and I think if we put massive government contracts or socialized it and made it, nationalized it and made it a government project to hire people to build these things, you could, if you nationalized it and it wasn't subject to sort of this market bullshit, you could pay them a good wage. It'd be good jobs,
I absolutely agree, and I think you've made a very convincing argument for this program. The main problem is that the neoliberal ruling class is wedded to austerity politics and does not understand how money works.
Yeah.
And so their question is, well, who's going to pay for all that?
Yeah. Yeah.
They fundamentally misunderstand how fiscal policy and the money supply interact, and so they think you cannot do this.
Yeah.
And moreover, they're invested in not doing this because doing that, spending of that scale or any project like that decreases their wealth.
Right. And that, I think 2 points. I think many people, conservatives in particular, and I'm including, most Democrats in there, tend to think of, governmental money and economy and like whatever as like personal finances,
right.
Which is absurd.
They think it's like a ledger where it's like,
yeah,
we really gotta address this debt problem.
Yeah, like it makes no sense.
U.S. sovereign debt is literally the underpinning force of the entire world economy.
Yeah, and
like that is literally the currency of the earth.
Mm-hmm. And so I think it's fucking stupid. And also, this dovetails with my idea that I don't think anyone should make more than $500,000 a year. So that's where the money would come from. And I also think we should just take what we need from there's those insane statistics, like the top 10 people in the US own more than like the bottom half. Which is, I think that should be emphasized all the time as just probably the most hilariously ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
We have to take their money.
So
have to.
That is where
the question is how we do it.
To answer the question, who's going to pay for this? It's people who make more than $500,000 a year, particularly people who have billions of dollars. So those are the two places. And yeah, for some reason, I don't know, people just have this idea of like, well, we couldn't take their money. Like,
well, because it's never happened, because those are the people who are in control of our institutions.
Yeah, no, that's true, but I mean, that's no reason to object to it on ideological grounds. I feel like people are like, that would be stealing or something like that. Like they earned the money. I think that would be like the response.
Neoliberal ideology instantiates itself at every point in our culture, including individual
But there's no way. My point is that there's no way anyone could ever do enough work to justify getting that much money. So they didn't earn it.
Absolutely not.
That's my two-step argument.
Most of the richest people right now that aren't like, I guess you could argue Bill Gates, or like people who own oil wells.
Mm-hmm.
Like
in the US, that's true.
The House of Saud or whatever. Other than those people, the richest people on earth are people who made money in financial speculation. Like literally, there are people who had a hedge fund or something and made these are real numbers. There are people who made over $1 billion a year working at hedge funds, generating profit by speculating on other fire industry assets.
Yeah.
Like, those people added literally no value to our world.
Yep.
They produced nothing. They're produced they produced only misery. And they're the richest people we have.
It's absolutely fucked up. Yeah, the policy of this show is that capitalism in all forms is immoral and should be done away with. Socialism or communism should be instated in its place.
As always, the choice is socialism or barbarism.
Yes, and we do mean that in the technical sense of literally anything else doesn't make sense.
Bar.
Yeah.
That's what you sound like when you say we shouldn't take capitalist money.
Yeah. It's literally, it's the same analogy that people, so the analogy that people are like, well, we should put away for the future. That's how you get ahead in personal financials and like be conservative with your money. Totally doesn't apply to countries' economies. That's a bad analogy. But it's the same sort of analogy where people are like, well, when I make money, I consider myself to have earned that money and nobody should be able to just take it from me. That would be stealing. But when you're making 100,000 times more than that, the game changes. There's no longer that one-to-one, I did this amount of work, so I got this amount of return. That's fair, so you shouldn't take it away from me because that'd be stealing. That's not how it works for the super rich. They do the same amount of work that you probably do and get 100,000 times more. That is absurd, and there's no justification for that. Therefore, it should be taken away.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's this weird sort of tipping point you pass where it's like, okay, I'm earning money, I'm making my, 5-figure salary, gonna make 6 figures someday. I'm gonna buy a boat when that happens. I'm gonna buy a
Mhm.
house. I'm gonna buy a nice lakefront property. When you have $4 billion,
Mhm.
there's nothing you want. You have all of it.
You sit
You want
glumly at home.
you have 8 houses. You have an island.
Mhm.
You literally go everywhere by helicopter, so you don't have to see poor people.
Yeah.
Like there are people who live like this. You buy entire museums worth of Picassos. You put them in your house, and you're like, no one else has this. Nice. Um,
Yeah.
and at that point, what you're doing with your money is no longer getting things that you want. It is just kind of turning your desires out onto society and doing fucked up things to it.
Yeah.
Like, I have $4 billion. I don't really need another helicopter. Um, but my kid is 6 years old, and I would really like them to go to this kind of school that I've made up in my head that I think would be better than anything anyone's ever come up with because I'm a megalomaniac.
Mhm.
And so instead of just homeschooling my kid like a normal weird person, I'm going to remold the entire school system of my society in the image of what I have in my head. Would be a good idea.
Yeah.
And that's the DeVos family.
No, dude, it's literally like our system has made it so some people, just normal ass people with the same dumb shit kicking around in their heads as everybody else, have the
Same dumb brains
power
we got.
have the power of demigods. Like
Yeah.
that's when you equate money with power and allow some people to have literally like 10 million times more money than like a very rich person. So 10 million times more power and influence. Fucked up shit happens. Yachts get built. Yeah, like fucking glass schools get built. Yeah, in Chapo, they were talking about they take the top 10% off of a dam and accidentally destroy it and kill 30,000 people. Like fucked up shit
Yeah.
starts. Or, as is the case in America, they take over the country and make it so the top 10 of them have more wealth than the bottom 50% of the entire country. Yeah, it's insane, and we need to get out of this sort of meritocratic thinking, where
Yeah. I mean, personally, I think if the top 10 people had more wealth than the bottom 50 people,
that would still be
that's
kind of
fucked
fucked up.
up. That's fucked up. We need more redistribution.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually what I thought it was. And I was like, that's so fucked up. Then I found out. Um,
Yeah,
and
it's been
my
a day
head
of learning.
exploded
Yeah.
into a shower of $100 bills. Um, yeah, just to full disclosure, we are hedge fund kids, or we're not hedge fund, but trust fund kids, and we're white and we're yeah. Let me get all my privileges out on the table. I'm cis, um, uh, um, hetero, uh, psycho, normal, basically, um, white, a man, um,
In the United
rich.
States.
Yeah, in the United States, speak English. Um,
Well, here's the thing you got to understand about the level of wealth that we have, though, is while like not having student debt is like crazy better
yeah,
than most people's lives after college. In terms of like earnings from our parents, like growing up, our parents made like between, depending on the time period, between like 70K and like 100 something K put
yeah,
together,
under 10 maybe.
which is like top 40, 35% maybe
Mm-hmm.
In the nation. A lot of privilege.
Yeah.
Then you go to Reed,
Yeah.
where 65% of the kids at Reed, their parents make more than 150K.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, like 2/3 of the people you meet are like significantly richer than you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I guess I have to start showing them more deference. I didn't realize how much more power and significance they had than I did.
Yeah, look for the boat shoes. Look for whoever is trying to appear the most poor. Really, is what you do.
Have you seen that great Mr. Show bit where he's like, "Hi, I'm whatever, I forget his name, editor of Fortune magazine. I make $500,000 a year, so I am more important than 99% of you." He's like, "Here's John. He used to be a school teacher, so he was very unimportant. But then he won the lottery, so his opinions mattered more than Einstein."
I have seen that.
Like, who was very poor, but then he's lost all his money. Nice going, Einstein. Or no, he gave all his money to charity. So his opinion doesn't matter at all anymore. Yeah, that's a great. If y'all haven't watched Mr. Show, watch it. It's very good. I mean, I think David Cross is kind of a shithead. Bob Odenkirk sounds like a nice guy, but together they make some pretty funny shit. So watch it. You get to see, a young Jack Black before he was very famous, and a young Scott Aukerman.
Yeah. The most average man in comedy.
Yeah. And yeah, they're good. Anyway, let's see. Any more railing against capitalism that we should do?
I'm tired.
Any more earnest railing against capitalism? Capitalism.
It's bad, folks.
Suck a dick, capitalism.
Yeah, if you're rich, we don't like you.
Yeah.
You should stop listening to the show.
You should actually donate all your money to us on Patreon.
You piece of shit.
And then we will give it to Chapo.
Yeah, we'll spend it on dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like Chapo live shows.
We'll become exclusive $10,000 a month contributors.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, that's all I got.
Alrighty, Rue. This was a pretty long. Yeah, sorry if you came here for basketball, because this was a mostly politics episode. And, kind of boring.
I'm gonna edit down the politics part pretty aggressively.
Yeah, cool.
I want to keep these under like 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's a good length. Well, yeah, as always, guys. I hope you had a good time. Subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching.
Peace.